They all stared and whispered when I walked in alone. "Poor Daisy, her husband must have finally left her," Mia sneered. The laughter stung worse than I thought it would. Then the ballroom doors opened, and everyone gasped. Jonathan stood there, holding red roses and a secret that would change everything. Stay with me to discover how a night of humiliation turned into the most romantic surprise of my life, and the secret my husband had been keeping that left everyone speechless. I never thought my story would be worth telling. I'm just Daisy, a simple woman with a simple life. My morning coffee always has too much cream, my hair never cooperates on important days, and I still bite my nails when I'm nervous. There's nothing remarkable about me. At least that's what I believed until that night changed everything. Jonathan came into my life 6 years ago when I was struggling to change a flat tire in the pouring rain. He pulled over without hesitation, soaking his expensive suit just to help a stranger. That's who he is, the kind of man who notices when someone needs help and never hesitates to give it. By the time my tire was fixed, I was drenched and laughing, and somehow I knew he was going to matter to me. Our love story isn't filled with grand gestures from romantic movies. It's the quiet kind, the way he brings me wildflowers he spotted on his morning run, how he holds my hand under the table during tense family dinners, the soft kisses on my forehead when he thinks I'm sleeping. Jonathan loves in the details, in the everyday moments most people miss. The way he looks at me still makes my heart flutter, like I'm the most beautiful sight he's ever seen, even in my ratty pajamas with messy hair. When the email arrived inviting me to the annual corporate gala, I almost deleted it. These events were always the same: fake smiles, uncomfortable shoes, and conversations with people who talked at you, not with you. But this year was different. I'd finally been promoted after 3 years of working overtime and pouring my heart into projects nobody noticed. This gala wouldn't just be another boring function. It would be my introduction to the company's upper management as someone worth knowing. I showed Jonathan the invitation that evening, my excitement bubbling over as I planned what to wear. His face fell immediately, and my heart sank with it. "Daisy, I'm so sorry," he said, taking my hands in his. "My business trip to Seattle got moved up. I'll be gone that whole week." He looked genuinely devastated, and I knew he meant it. In 6 years, Jonathan had never missed anything important to me. "It's fine," I lied, forcing a smile that didn't reach my eyes. "It's just a work thing." But we both knew it wasn't just a work thing. It was my moment, and for the first time, I'd have to face it alone. I spent hours getting ready for the gala, trying to silence the voice in my head that kept whispering, I should just stay home. Sophia came over to help me prepare, curling my hair and assuring me I looked beautiful in my navy blue dress, the only formal gown I owned, bought on clearance 3 years ago. "You're going to show them all what they've been missing," she said, adjusting my necklace, a silver pendant Jonathan had given me on our anniversary. The taxi dropped me off at the Grand Plaza Hotel, and my stomach immediately twisted into knots. Through the glass doors I could see everyone mingling in pairs or groups, champagne flutes glinting under crystal chandeliers. I clutched my small purse, took a deep breath, and walked in alone. The ballroom was stunning, but all I could focus on were the stairs. I recognized the whispers. They were the same ones that followed me through high school and college, the ones that said I didn't belong. Mia spotted me from across the room, her crimson dress hugging her perfect figure as she whispered something to Nathan and a group of colleagues. Their laughter crashed over me like a wave. "Daisy, you actually came," Mia called out, her smile not reaching her eyes. "Where's your husband? Or did you just make him up all these years?" More laughter followed as heat crept up my neck. I'd mentioned Jonathan countless times at work, but since he never came to company events due to his travel schedule, people like Mia had created their own narrative. "He's on a business trip," I replied, trying to keep my voice steady. "Seattle?" "Of course he is," Mia smirked. "Well, come join us lonely hearts at the singles table." The mockery in her tone was unmistakable. I spent the next hour moving between conversations, plastering on smiles that felt like cracks in glass. Each introduction to senior management was undercut by pitying glances or curious murmurs about the woman who came alone. My promotion, my achievements, None of it seemed to matter in the face of my apparent social failure. In the bathroom, I finally let a few tears escape, quickly dabbing them away before they could ruin my makeup. I pulled out my phone and called Jonathan, not caring about the 3-hour time difference. "I can't do this," I whispered when he answered. "Everyone's looking at me like I'm pathetic. Mia's telling people you don't exist." "Daisy, listen to me." Jonathan's voice was firm but gentle through the phone. "You are the strongest person I know. Don't let people like Mia steal your moment." I leaned against the cool bathroom wall, trying to steady my breathing. "I know, but it's harder than I thought. I wish you were here." There was a pause, and something in his tone changed. "Maybe you should just trust me for once," he said mysteriously. "Sometimes things aren't exactly what they seem. Just hold on a little longer, okay? I promise you won't regret it." "What does that mean?" I asked, confused by his cryptic response. "It means I love you more than anything," he replied. "Now go back out there and show them who Daisy really is." His confidence in me sparked something small but fierce. I repaired my makeup, straightened my dress, and walked back into the ballroom with as much dignity as I could muster. The CEO was giving a speech acknowledging various team achievements. When he mentioned my project and its success, I stood a little taller despite feeling Mia's eyes boring into me from across the room. During dinner, I made conversation with an older executive seated beside me who actually seemed interested in my ideas. For a brief moment, I forgot about being alone, but then the music started and couples moved to the dance floor. I stayed seated, fighting the urge to check my watch or worse, leave early. "Still enjoying your solo evening?" Mia appeared beside me, champagne in hand. "Such a shame your husband is always conveniently absent. My Nathan would never miss something this important to me." I opened my mouth to respond when the entire room seemed to shift. Conversations halted mid-sentence. Heads turned toward the entrance. Even Mia's perfectly composed face registered shock. The crowd parted like a scene from a movie I never thought I'd star in. There, framed by the grand doorway, stood Jonathan. Not in Seattle, but here, in a perfectly tailored black suit, his dark hair slightly windblown as if he'd rushed to arrive. In his hands was a bouquet of red and white roses, and his eyes scanned the room until they found mine. My heart stopped, then raced as he walked straight toward me, ignoring the stares and whispers that followed him. Mia stepped back, her mouth slightly open in disbelief. "Sorry I'm late," Jonathan said loudly enough for those nearby to hear, then softer, "just for me. Did you really think I'd miss this?" I couldn't speak as he handed me the roses. Their sweet scent broke through my shock. "How are you here?" "Your flight? Seattle? The client?" "None of that matters," he said, taking my hand. "You matter." He pulled me gently to my feet and into his arms, kissing me right there in front of everyone. It wasn't a show of possession or territory, it was a homecoming. When we separated, I noticed the room had erupted in chatter. Mia had disappeared into the crowd, but my boss was approaching with a warm smile. "So this is the famous Jonathan," he said, extending his hand. "Daisy talks about you constantly. Glad you could make it after all." The rest of the evening passed in a blur of introductions and dancing. Jonathan charmed everyone, as he always did, but never left my side. With his arm around my waist, I finally felt like I belonged in that glittering ballroom. Every so often he'd lean down to kiss my temple or whisper something that made me laugh. "How did you do this?" I finally asked as we swayed to a slow song. "You were supposed to be on a plane to Seattle right now." His smile held a secret. "That's just the beginning, love. The night's not over yet." It wasn't until we were in the taxi leaving the gala that Jonathan revealed the full extent of his surprise. "I never had a Seattle trip," he confessed, his fingers intertwined with mine. "I've been planning this for weeks, ever since you mentioned the promotion might come through. I wanted to be there for your moment, but I also wanted to surprise you." I stared at him in disbelief. "You lied about your business trip?" "A necessary deception," he smiled, kissing my fingers. "But that's not all." He pulled out 2 plane tickets from his jacket pocket. "Bali, departing tomorrow morning." "We've both been working too hard," he said softly. "You deserve more than just one night of celebration. 10 days, just us, white sand beaches, and absolutely no Mias." Tears welled in my eyes as memories flooded back. Our first date at the local carnival where he won me a stuffed bear I still keep on our bed. The weekend trips to the coast where we'd walk barefoot along the shore. The night he proposed during a meteor shower, promising me the stars and so much more. "How did I get so lucky?" I whispered. "I'm the lucky one," he insisted, and the sincerity in his eyes made my heart ache with love. We spent the night packing between kisses and laughter. Jonathan had thought of everything. He'd even spoken to my boss privately to arrange my vacation time. As we fell asleep, I realized that what had started as one of the worst nights of my life had transformed into one of the most beautiful. The Balinese sun feels different from home. More golden, more forgiving. As I watch Jonathan swimming in the turquoise waters, I think about the night of the gala and how quickly judgment can dissolve in the face of truth. We've spent our days exploring ancient temples, indulging in candlelit dinners on the beach, and losing ourselves in each other away from deadlines and obligations. Last night, we slow danced under the stars with no music except the rhythm of the waves. His arms around me felt like the safest place in the world. "What are you thinking about?" Jonathan asks, joining me on our private villa's deck, water dripping from his tanned skin. "How sometimes the worst moments lead to the best ones," I reply as he wraps his arms around me from behind, "and how I don't care what Mia or anyone else thinks anymore." "That's my girl," he whispers, his lips brushing my ear. I've learned that love isn't measured by grand gestures or public displays, though Jonathan has given me both. Real love is in the consistent choice to show up, even when it means changing plans, crossing oceans, or simply being there when everyone else has looked away. My name is Daisy. I'm still an ordinary woman with an ordinary life. My morning coffee still has too much cream, my hair still refuses to behave, and sometimes I still bite my nails. But I've discovered that being ordinary doesn't mean your love story can't be extraordinary. And that's a secret worth sharing. If this story touched your heart, make sure to like and subscribe for more real-life romances that prove love always wins. Share this with someone who deserves a Jonathan in their life, someone who will cross oceans to stand by your side when you need them most.